Hi, hello everybody. I never know how to start these videos. I need a catchy greeting like all the super famous YouTube people.
Hey everybody.
Hey everybody.
What's up guys?
Hey, how's it going, dudes?
But anyway, it's a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. The tonepriest is playing hooky from work. Not really. Took a day off. Been feeling a little under the weather this whole weekend yesterday. And didn't get much sleep last night. Woke up with a little bit of sinusy, sniffly stuff. And apparently that's like one of the first symptoms of that wacky disease that's going around. I don't know if you've all heard about this, like this weird thing going around the whole earth. But regardless, that's neither here nor there. The time has come. It's time to stop messing around with those silly guitars, silly effects pedals, silly Rick Beato videos, and do what we came here to do, which is to service and repair vintage amplifiers so that we can play guitar through them with awesome tone.
I said, no, it doesn't have the tone, doesn't have the power.
And up on the bench, this will probably be upside down. Maybe I'll flip it in post. We have a Sound Electronics Corp model X305R. Very cool amp. Give it a little more description, and you'll see as the video progresses. The wiring on this beast is immaculate, surpassed only by anal retentiveness of people like High Watt.
He taught me everything about soldering, positive and negative, everything like that. Since I was a little kid, blah, blah, blah.
Previous owner said it's been in his basement for 30 years.
30 days in the hole.
That's what she said?
This hasn't been fired up in 30 years. So, need to change the electrolytics for sure, and the power cord was definitely suspect. I already started working on this previously before I started making these Hollywood movies.
I'm thinking about a movie.
One of mine.
No, one that we're producing.
With what? Wise guy money. Huh?
Maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
But let me show you what the electrolytics look like. Alright, it took me a second to find these things in my storage bins, but I just had to follow my nose. So, yeah. Seems like the nose is working again better than this morning, so looks like I don't have that wacky disease. It was probably just from moving all the amps yesterday as I was cleaning up the Church of the Tonepriest. Some of the amps I haven't scrubbed yet with concentrated hydrochloric bleach.
I never use this stuff. Are you sure it'll do the job?
Trust us.
So there's still little black mold, white mold, pink mold, yellow mold.
Meet the slime mold.
Up in the old nose, but all better. But anyway, couldn't find electrolytics, but the nose did the walking and the talking, and they were easy to find. And here they are. Yeah, they're like two of them I put on the ESR meter. They're probably okay, but yeah, they got that sweet electrolytic, ancient electrolytic funk to them. So yeah, they gotta go. All right, so these guys were housed right here in a doghouse. Doghouse. So as previously mentioned, I already started working on this, and you know, they put a ton of effort into this amplifier, making the wiring awesome, but they put these electrolytics on this friggin' ridiculous cereal box cardboard get up right here. So that's gonna go. So these are gonna go right into the trash, and we're gonna replace that with these guys right here. Put one guy right here, another guy right here, and that'll be super nice, super clean. I believe I bought some F&Ts for that, and this will be all nice and hooked up, and it'll look nice. And yeah, this is pretty much the only deficiency in this amplifier from the factory. So And then I still need to wire in the power plug. And then once I get those two things done, I'll just do a spot check of looking for any potential problems, loose wires or whatever, and maybe we can get the light to work. Yeah, can't see that. We'll fire it up on the Variac and see what happens. Take it from there. Take the problems as they come. Alright, here we go. So one cool thing about this chassis is you can see the shape of it. Even with the tubes installed, I believe, with the power tubes, they sit lower than this little indentation or whatever, so you can lay it down even with the tubes installed. So that's cool. Don't need a chassis to work on this. So just want to make sure before we drill the holes for the terminal strips on the other side that'll be sitting under the doghouse. Can you see that? Yeah. So these guys are going to be on the other side. And it looks like so long as we're careful, we're not going to drill into anything important. Just got to watch out for that wooden thing that this little board is mounted to. And yeah, this will work out great. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, so I very carefully drilled some pilot holes. I don't know if you can see them. There they are. 1, 2, 3, and 4 over there.
1, 2, 3, 4. The number of the day is 4.
Number 4 is a little close to that piece of wood, but I think we'll be alright. That's what it looks like under the doghouse. Get out of the way. There they are. Yeah, I think this will be fine. Moving on. Alright, gotta clean all these metal shavings up. Alright, so I got the terminal strips installed. They fit under the doghouse nicely. We'll get the caps on there, we'll get them wired up, and then we'll move on to step 2, I guess. Alright, and job done. Not the neatest or cleanest in the world, but I think it'll work. Just got to make sure that, you know, none of the terminals are going to touch the metal of the doghouse when that's installed, but I think that'll do nicely.
I was thinking maybe I'd like to be a mentor, yeah.
A mentor? Kenny, that is great.
Yeah.
Who are you thinking of mentoring?
Oh, I don't know, mostly young people, like
That's
maybe
terrific.
college chicks.
It looks obviously a lot better than this silly thing. And put a little bit of foam up in there. The original foam dissolved, so maybe a couple of strips of foam in there, maybe some silicone. We'll figure something out. Keep this stuff from wiggling all around, but yeah, I think that'll do nicely. Moving on. Alright, so here we are at the transformer. We're trying to install this new power plug here. Let me look through the viewfinder while I do this. This out of the way.
Professor, please.
Everybody move!
Thank you.
So, deal with it. So looking at the old power plug, which I left installed. So we come in through the wall, and we go down to the on-off switch, and see if I can show you this. Goes into the switch on this side here, and it comes out on the other side, and then the hot goes to the transformer over here. But it also goes out into this polarity switch with this blue wire. You can see it's got 4 poles, and the bottom 2 poles are connected and the top 2 poles are connected, and when you flip the switch it combines the top and the bottom poles. So it looks like we got a depth cap here, which I've taken out. So I'm not exactly sure what this is supposed to do, because then the blue wire goes to the fuse holder, which also has a black wire at the same spot going to the other side of the primary on the transformer, and we get to blah, blah, blah. Whatever. We're just going to do this old school. We know what needs to be what. There's 2 poles on the primary. That's all we need to know, because all the other leads on the transformer are pretty self-explanatory. You got your filament wires in blue, and then secondary, center tap, power, and your bias voltage. So I think we're good here. We can whip this guy out. We're going to remove the depth cap. We're going to remove the polarity switch, and just it'll be on off in 3 power plug, and we'll be good to go. So I'm going to do that right now. Here we are with the power plug all wired up. So it comes in through the wall, out through the black wire, into the back of the fuse holder, goes through the fuse, comes out through the front of the fuse holder, into the switch, the on-off switch, comes out of the on-off switch, goes, where does it go? Goes up through this black wire right here, into the primary of the transformer, comes out on the other side of the primary, into the white wire, back into the wall. As you can see, we've installed the equipment grounding conductor, we drilled a new hole, mounted a one of these little guys here, a single terminal switch thingy here, and this guy's grounded all by himself, and the green wire is longer than the other two wires, so the NFPA and EC will be happy, even though this is not a dwelling or a houseboat or a motorhome, but whatever, safety third. Alright, so I'll probably neaten that all up, and then take a little spot check, see if anything else is funky. Maybe we'll clean up the all the whatever the fuck these things are called, plugs. Squirt some spunk in all the switches, clean them up. Yeah, the jacks. We'll clean up the jacks, as we saw with those two guitars they did. If you got old funky jacks, they don't work very well. So we'll give them a little polishing. And then spot check. If everything seems kosher, we'll throw it up on the Variac and see what she does. We'll take it from there. Alright, here we are. Show you where we're at here. Just dialed the Variac up to about 40 volts, sorry. And that's when this little display I added to the Variac turns on. And I flipped on the power switch, and boom. Looks like we're drawing 130 milliamps, 4.59 watts. Looks pretty stable. So that's a good sign. I'm gonna let it settle out for a minute, let the caps form up and stuff. This thing hasn't been on in 30 years. So we'll dial it up real slow. But before that, I just took my dowel here and wrapped some 2000 grit wet dry sandpaper, and I cleaned up all the jacks, making sure to get the sleeve, to get the tip, just stuck it in there and sanded it lightly. And then on these grounded jacks, get it behind the little ground bar there. Just stick a piece of sandpaper in on each side to get the little dimple, and then the other side where the dimple connects to it. So all the jacks, and I sprayed some Fader F5 in all the pots, and turned it back and forth several times, the bias pot, and then put that back in the middle. All the knobs are down all the way counterclockwise, so they're on 0. And this is where we're at. So we're slowly dialing her up. So far, so good. Give you a progress report in a second. There she is. Alright, so we got some good news and some bad news. We got the cap hooked up over here. As you can hear, there's a lot of noise. And, well, the good news is it makes sound. The bad news is it sounds like this.
I mean, it's such a dramatic difference. It's not even the same universe. The sound, the response, the harmonics, everything is sick. You can't even compare them.
So I think we definitely have some capacitor problems, at least, if not more. So it looks like we're going to have to go in here and swap some stuff out. A little more work than I was hoping it was going to have to do, but that's alright. We'll get it running right. So stay tuned for that. Alright, so I think I've identified problem number 1. Checking voltages on the plates of all the tubes, and they're all showing voltages, except for pin 1, which I guess would be plate 2, on this first one over here, and that, I believe, is the first thing after the input jack. So that's where we'll start, figure out what's going on here. Probably replace everything that's in line from the jack to, you know, pin 1 over there, and see where that leaves us. Actually, let me rephrase that. We're talking about the plate here that's not getting any voltage, so we'll trace this back to the source, and then you know, replace what needs to be replaced there. Let me see if I can dig up the schematic on this thing. It'll certainly help that matters out, but one way or another we'll figure it out. She is pretty though. She's not sounding too good at the moment, but she will. I have faith. Also, I think while we're in here, fixing up, replacing some of these old components, I think we'll update the bias circuit. We'll get rid of those caps, replace the diodes, make sure that's all working good, because if that's not working good, obviously that would be a bad thing. So I gotta see what I have in stock. Probably have to order some parts and put this on the back burner for a little bit, but let's see what I got. Alright, so before I started ripping everything apart, I swapped out tube 1 and tube 2, or whatever it is, 7 and 8. Those two tubes, I swapped the tubes, checked the voltages again, and voltages were good on all 4 plates, so probably just had a bad connection on when I inserted the tube, but we still get, you know, a horrible sound. Sounds like a square wave to me, so I think there's a bunch of ripple in here, so I think a rectification may be the issue, along with some, you know, maybe some leakage in the system. So we'll clean up the diodes over here. We'll start hopefully replacing some of the capacitors, and hopefully we can get a nice sounding amp out of this. So that's the next step. Yanked out the diodes for the bridge rectifier, and I pulled up this resistor here. Looks like it should be a 22. Let's see what we got. Whoa. Yeah, the first band is definitely not green.
It's not that easy being green.
So we'll get that guy out of there too. Yeah. This amp might need a whole lot of servicing, but it'll be worth it.
Done.